Iron. Lots of it. The demon Galvax was fighting smelled of blood and coagulating iron. In fact, that's what it was. Every time he made contact with the beast, he felt the familiar, goopy, sticky feeling that came with blackened, coagulated blood. Galvax collapsed to one knee, out of breath.
Mother! How's Hugo doing? I could really use some help with this!
He's not coming too.
Damn it!
Come on, Hugo.
She smacked Hugo in the face a few times.
Wake up!
The beast's whip lashed out and crashed into the weapons guild hall, sending debris ricocheting in every direction. Galvax took the weapons and quickly organized them into piles, strategically placing each one and dodging the colossal beast's whip all at the same time.
I need all front linesmen aiming javelins at this thing. Tie ropes to the end of your shafts and secure them to a building. We're bringing this thing down.
Galvax raised his weapon in the air, pretending it was an axe.
Archers, I need explosive tipped arrows aimed at the base of this thing's tail. Once this thing is incapacitated, wait for my signal to light them off.
50 men assimilated at the piles of weapons, plucking each one out of the pile and hurling them deep into the beast's tar-covered flesh. The beast was brought lower and lower and lower to the ground until its massive chain slammed into the earth, shaking the dirt beneath everyone.
Archers, take aim!
The men obeyed and pulled back their bows.
Fire!
Arrows discharged and sunk deep into the beast's spine. It screamed in agony, begging for mercy. But Galvax knew better than the trust pleads for grace. Every unknown variable about this thing was another reason for Galvax not to grow too soft. And this beast was the biggest variable he had ever witnessed.
Mother, wake Hugo up! Now! I need him!
Marlotta pulled open Hugo's eyelids with her right thumb and held up her left hand. A small light winked in and out of existence, periodically growing bright and then growing dim. Marlotta focused on Hugo's pupils. They weren't responding to the light.
Galvax, his eyes aren't responding to my Gidma's light.
No, that's impossible. Everyone comes to with the Gidma's light.
All thought of the demon left Galvax's head.
Hugo, you'd better not be dead.
The only thing that doesn't respond to the Gidma's light is a mind with negative intentions. So why isn't Hugo waking up?
Galvax turned around to face his sea of men.
Chalice, take charge for now. See to it that the beast doesn't move.
Galvax turned back to Hugo and his mother.
Galvax, you don't think Hugo's involved with something, do you?
Don't be absurd. Of course I don't. I trust this man with my life. Do you honestly think I doubt him for a second? My own brother? Your own son?
Galvax, he isn't of our royal bloodline. He isn't my son, and he isn't your brother.
He might as well be. He's been with us since I was a child. That's 20 years, Mother.
Galvax turned back to a sea of men.
Archers, prepare to blow the tail!
The archers did as were told and shot a second volley of arrows tipped with oil-drenched rags. They soared over top the beast, raining down oil over its sticky flesh. Galvax grabbed a torch off the closest building and promptly jammed it into the beast's left eye. Flames licked the oil on the skin of the beast. A roaring flame burst to life, scorching every inch of tar-covered skin. The fire reached the explosive-tipped arrows, lighting them aflame and setting them off, severing the tail from its body via explosion. It flew high into the air and landed in a messy coil on the ground behind Galvax.
I am honestly shocked that you'd think Hugo is behind this.
I said no such thing.
Hugo started to come to. He slowly rolled his head back and forth, eyes still closed, trying to understand what was happening.
You didn't have to. It's quite obvious what you were thinking.
Oh yeah? And what's that, son? What was it that I was thinking about Hugo?
Hugo got his eyes working and struggled to his feet. Halfway up, he lost his balance and slammed his head into the wall of a nearby building.
What is going on? What in the world is that thing?
Hugo pointed to the bonfire of a creature.
That, my friend, is what almost killed you. Good thing the Gidmis light worked and kept you from dying. Isn't that right, Mother?
Marlotta rolled her tongue in her mouth and put an arm around Hugo as well, helping Galvax keep him up.
Yes, dear, you are very right. It's good that Hugo is okay.
Marlotta tugged Hugo a little, forcing him to lean on her more. She walked with his momentum and had Hugo leaning on her and not Galvax.
I'll take him to the infirmary tent. You take care of the beast.
Hugo awkwardly looked back and forth at his counterparts. He could feel the tension between the two of them rising, and he didn't want any part of it.
What is going on?
Galvax crossed his arms childishly. His mother looked away, refusing eye contact.
Nothing. Nothing is going on. Why would something be happening?
Oh, shove it, Mother. Just tell him the truth. You think he's behind this attack.
You what?
How dare you? I am your mother, and I deserve to be treated as such.
Galvax was pacing back and forth at this point. His anger was boiling like a pot of water.
You'll get fair treatment once you have fair thoughts, Marlotta.
Out of nowhere, the beast's whip made one last crack, slashing Galvax across the back and crippling him onto the ground. The surrounding men hailed the tail with attacks, silencing its post-mortem movements.
See what happens when you don't treat people right? Karma, that's what happens. Now get yourself up.
She held out a hand for Galvax to grab. He reached back and flung his arm around a bit, but couldn't reach his mother's hand.
A little closer, please.
Marlotta walked a little closer, hand outstretched. Galvax flung his arm around once more, but he still couldn't reach his mother's hand.
Galvax, just roll over and grab my hand for tail's sake. We don't have all day.
He didn't respond. He just stayed quiet. Hugo hobbled over to Galvax and crouched down in front of him.
What's up, Galv? Why can't you move?
Galvax took a few minutes to respond. Marlotta thought he was faking it, but Hugo could see the fear in Galvax's eyes, the new knowledge that something was wrong, but one couldn't quite figure out what.
The lower half of my body. I can't feel any of it.